In the world we live in today, there is a certain hate of the rich that is absolutely well-founded, because when you think of certain rich folk from various industries, they went and made a name for themselves, and then got greedy and decided that making more money was more important than just about everything else, including their own workers. However, there have been attempts to show that this isn't the only thing that they do. Some try and help others and achieve dreams. And the show Undercover Billionaire is an example of that. Its second season is going on right now on Discovery, and the three involved in this season are fighting for their lives and reputations. So allow us to give you Elaine Culotti Undercover Billionaire update. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. What is Undercover Billionaire? For those who didn't watch the first season of the show and haven't thought about season 2, allow us to give you a refresher. Undercover Billionaire is a reality show that features literal billionaires giving up everything to try and prove that with hard work and determination, you can go and make $1 million business in just 90 days. To be clear, there were rules that they had to follow. They had to be put in a town they knew nothing about. They were stripped of all of their phone contacts and couldn't reach out to anyone for help that they knew in their billionaire life. And most importantly, they didn't have the luxury of their massive bank accounts. Instead, they were dropped off, given a beat-up old truck and $100 and told to make things work. The first season focused on Glenn Stearns, who made his own lending business and turned it into a company worth a lot. But he gave it all up and went to Erie, Pennsylvania to try and make $1 million business. If he failed, he'd invest $1 million of his own money to make sure he completed his goal after the fact. Glenn went through heck during that season, including a resurgence of his cancer that he had earlier in life. But he pushed through and made Underdog Barbecue, and got it appraised at $750,000. Not bad for 90 days. And in season 2, they went bigger, with 3 new billionaires giving it their all to try and make things happen. One of whom was Elaine Culotti. Elaine Culotti's journey. For those who don't know, Elaine Culotti is a force in the world of both real estate and interior design. By her own admission, and something she loves to say on the show, is that she lives in a male-dominated industry and she doesn't care. I'm not going to cry. I'm going to make you cry.
I don't take no for an answer. Being a woman in a man's world, there's no crying. I make other people cry.
And so for her, she's struggled her entire career to go and try and make things work for herself. And that's exactly what she did. So for her, to go and do Undercover Billionaire and make this $1 million business in just a few months flat, this was just another way of her showing how dominant she was and how good she was at her job. When I showed up to Fresno, I had such a body of experience in terms of how to start a business that I was able to figure out quickly who was going to help me, who was not going to help me. I knew going in I had to invest time in people that I didn't know, and give it to God that they would stick around and be the right people. You can't go through a lot of people. You don't have time. It's about trust. Even if they don't have the full skill set you need, you have to give them strength and empowerment to be successful. It was a refresher course, but a boot camp refresher. You are in the trenches. The whole show is do or die. That may sound harsh, but for people like Elaine, that's how they work. They know just how important a show like this can be because it changes lives and affects so many. Business advice. Easily one of the best parts about Undercover Billionaire is that the cast isn't just trying to prove themselves as capable business people when the chips are down. They're trying to encourage others to do the best they can with their own businesses. And Elaine is never afraid to give out advice, especially to those who are still struggling with the global pandemic that is crippling businesses all over. One of the most important things I say to anyone in a place that is in a downhill spiral is take 24 hours and take a deep breath. You have to stop falling. You have to take a minute to catch yourself. Don't be reactionary. If you're a small business owner, go next door to the business next door. I can assure you your neighbors are there wanting to work together to have a common business goal. You're not alone. We're all in this together and going to come out of this really strong. What's important about that statement is that from her perspective, It may seem callous because she is going to be fine no matter what with this pandemic, because she's got her businesses and her wealth to fall back on, and many others don't. But don't lose the message here. This isn't about who has what. It's about going and building yourself up and overcoming the obstacles that are in your way, which is something Elaine absolutely had to face during Undercover Billionaire, as the season has shown so far. Her path so far. At the time of this video releasing, Undercover Billionaire is not fully out yet, unless you have Discovery Plus. And so we'll keep the spoilers really light because it's honestly more important that you go and watch the show for yourself to see what it's like and how the end results go. But for Elaine, she was dumped into Fresno, California, and she took the name Elaine May Ringe, inspired by trailblazing businesswoman Rhoda May Ringe, to go and try to make her business soar. What was immediately clear to her was that she did have a lot of potential around her, and she leaned heavily into her real estate background to try and do a remodel. But as she looked around and saw the prices of the buildings around her, she realized that she was fighting an uphill battle, because remember, she only had $100 to her name. So she had to go and try to do things to not just make money, but channel money into her venture, whatever it turned out to be. The Ram Inn. Not unlike many great business ideas, Elaine kind of stumbled into what she would use to make her million-dollar business idea. In short, needing lodging, she went to a bar and hotel called the Ram's Inn and offered to do labor for the manager if he let her stay there for free. As she cleaned the place, she realized that because of COVID, the inn was barely making money, and thus had to go and just get by with the hotel fees because no one was coming to the bar. And Elaine saw a major opportunity with this as she went and decided to work with the manager to renovate the place and turn it into a hotel and deli as well as a grocery store. This would up the reasons to not just come into the hotel, but stay there for long stays because it had all the food you'd need for a long trip. As of the most recent episode, Elaine was struggling to get everything together, but was able to get some new helpers as well as bringing in potential key investors to help work out some of the deli grocery ideas. She definitely has the confidence to go and get this job done, but she knows it's still going to be a long haul until that point. So where does she go from here? We'll have to wait and see. Round 2? So being that she was willing to go and do this show, you have to ask, would she be up for doing it again? Of course I would do this again. That being said, it would be selfish. It's time to give the torch to someone else, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The whole point of the experience is to let people know they can do it and empower people. The goal now is to give this torch to another entrepreneur to allow them to have success in their life and show people how they did it. It's important that we create teachers. A fair assessment. And in regards to what to expect for the rest of the season, if you empower people, they will rise up and surprise you. You will see people come to life here. It's remarkable. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at Elaine Culotti and how she is doing on Undercover Billionaire so far? Do you think that she's doing the right business moves so far? Do you think that by the end of the season, she'll be able to reach her goal? Are you hoping that this show continues and that more billionaires step forward to try and show others how to make it big and achieve their dreams? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.